Okay, we're all set.
Thank you very much, Madam Administrator. Do we have? Do we have Faye Brown-Bruton in?
Yep, here I am.
Hi, Faye. How are you?
Hi, good afternoon.
Good. Hold on one second.
And Senator, we have Greg Messner is also in, so he will be, as he's done in the past, he's available to answer questions as well as Ms. Brown-Bruton.
Thank you. Good afternoon, everybody. This is a committee meeting for appropriations, public hearing for appropriations to be followed by a committee meeting. Representative Walker, do you have anything to say?
No, just good afternoon to everybody, and let's rock and roll.
And is Senator Minor on?
Senator Minor is in environment.
Oh, thank you very much, Representative Ryan. Representative France.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Looking forward to testimony and moving forward. Thank you.
Thank you very much. First up on the speakers list is Ms. Faye Brown-Bruton from the Office of Policy and Management.
Thank you. Good afternoon, Senator Austin, Representative Walker, and distinguished members of the committee. I'm Faye Brown-Bruton, Under Secretary for Labor Relations within the Office of Policy and Management. I'm here testifying in support of an agreement between the state of Connecticut and the Administrative and Residual Bargaining Unit. Between February and April of 2020, the Connecticut State Board of Labor Relations issued several decisions modifying the ANR P5 bargaining unit to include 13 former managerial classifications. The classifications cover approximately 58 employees throughout 4 state agencies, including the Departments of Banking, Labor, Transportation, and Insurance. The proposed resolutions represent the conclusions of those impact negotiations regarding the accretion of employees into the P5 unit in multiple classifications as set forth in the written testimony. The fiscal year 2021 cost of this agreement, including fringe benefits, is estimated at $334,993 and is fully budgeted in the Reserve for Salary Adjustment account. The major compensation provisions of this agreement include salary group placement, a general wage increase, and an incremental step. Regarding the salary group placement, at the outset of our negotiations, the union sought to place these individuals on a step in the ANR step pay plan in accordance with the DAS manual entitled Determining Salary Upon a Change in Job Class. According to the manual, approximately 24 of the incumbents would have received automatic increases from their managerial pay rate in order to bring them to the minimum of the corresponding P5 step pay plan. The cost of slotting those employees onto the P5 scale per the DAS manual would have resulted in increases up to 3.1% for a total of approximately $141,000, not including the cost of increases for employees who already fell within the corresponding P5 range. The 3% increment, rather than 2% per the agreement, would have cost an additional $70,000 effective January 2021. The provisions of this agreement, including the 3.5 general wage increase and 2% annual increment, are limited to 1 year. The incremental increase is lower than the rest of the bargaining unit. They are not eligible for time and a half overtime for hours worked, and their vacation accrual maximum is reduced, including the associated payout upon separation from employment. And those individuals who had their longevity pay rolled into their base pay as managers are not eligible for the bargaining unit longevity. The administrative and residual bargaining unit already has a contract in place that is set to expire on June 30th of this year. This agreement reflects that these employees will be covered by the terms of the current contract that was approved by the legislature in July of 2017, with some exceptions. The agreement before you today, therefore, follows the final year wage structure set forth in that agreement. Of note is the fact that the value steps, also known as increments, in the A&R pay plan are 3.1%. This agreement provides only a 2% incremental increase in lieu of the step increase in the last year of the contract. We have effectively captured a savings for the state with this limited increment.
Is that it, Faye?
Just give me a second. And for those who are at the top of the pay scale, they'll receive the bargaining unit 2.5% lump sum payment at maximum as prescribed by the contract. Like other accretion agreements, this avoids immediate pay increases that would otherwise result by placing them on a step within the A&R pay plan. They're going to maintain their current base rate of pay on the managerial range plan, and they shall only be afforded one general wage increase and a single increment, along with the rest of the A&R bargaining unit commencing June 19, 2020. This outcome was dictated by the statutory factors that an arbitrator must consider in interest arbitration. And that includes the history of negotiations between the parties. And that is the result of the 2017 CBAC agreement. The condition of employment of similar groups of employees that's reflected in the CBAC 2017 agreement, covering approximately 40,000 state employees. The wages, fringe benefits, and working conditions prevailing in the labor market also supports the wage for this group of employees. Fringe benefits such as pension and health care were negotiated on a coalition basis with CBAC, and that agreement is due to reopen in 2027. The overall compensation paid to the employees reflects multiple years of them not having any pay increases as managers. And when we consider the change in the cost of living with the rest of the bargaining unit, it's clear that they had fallen behind. The ability for the employer to pay, the final statutory factor an arbitrator would consider, must be considered against the cost of wage increases for other organized employees and the total state budget. Finally, the statute requires an arbitrator to consider the interest and welfare of the employees. While it should be patently obvious that the interest and welfare of the employer and employees are inexorably tied together, the statute only requires an arbitrator to consider the interest and welfare of the employees. As I said, this agreement captures the savings associated with maintaining them on the range plan, lower increments, and reduced maximum vacation accruals. Otherwise, they are on par with the rest of their bargaining unit and other organized groups of employees in state service. I am available to respond to any questions that you may have. Thank you.
Thank you, Faye. Appreciate that. I would ask anybody to start raising their hands if there are any questions. Faye, I have a couple of questions relative to accretions. Are there any other accretions pending over at the Labor Board?
Yes.
What are they relative to?
There is a petition pending a decision, and let's see. I'm just trying to make sure that I'm accurate because there is also a petition that is being negotiated, and the parties are trying to work out the details. And so there are two groups of employees. If memory serves me correctly, that are accreting into existing units.
And which units are they?
One of them, there is a petition pending, and the state is challenging the appropriateness of the bargaining unit that they are looking to enter. And so I'm not going to say for certain because that decision has not been made. The other one is entering.
If I could, it's Faye, if I could just ask, isn't the fact that there's a petition available public record?
The fact that there is a petition pending? Yes.
Yeah. What is that? So which group is that with? I just want to know the group.
Let's see, A&R.
It's another A&R.
It's another group seeking accretion into the A&R bargaining unit.
Okay, and what agencies do they work for?
The Department of Social Services.
Thank you. And how many employees?
Approximately 20 employees.
Okay, and the other one that is in negotiations?
It's in negotiations. It's either the P3A or the P3B, and that's the education administrators or the educators bargaining unit.
And yep, and that's P3A. And then what agency do they work for?
Department of Correction.
And how many are they?
I'm not certain, but I believe it's approximately 12.
Okay, thank you. And are there any contracts pending?
Yes, there are numerous contracts pending. As you know,
Are there any that are going to come before the legislature this year?
I am not certain of that fact. None of them have reached impasse at this juncture.
Okay. And are they all relative to the change that happens this July 1st? Are they all ending June 30th, like the current contract that we're looking at, this accretion?
I know that there are a couple in judicial that have a wage reopener, and and I don't know where they are as far as timing on that. And so they may very well come before the legislature. I just don't know because we don't negotiate those. And then there are all of the OLR service units, higher ed units, other judicial units that are on par with the expiration date of June 30th this year.
Okay. And I think we're supposed to be getting one from UConn too.
Yes, the postdoctorate fellows contract is supposed to be coming from UConn.
Thank you, Faye. There are a number of people that have questions. Up first is Representative Dathan.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and thank you, Faye, for your testimony today. Just to clarify, I thought I saw something that said 67 employees, but you're saying it's only 58. Is that right?
Well, the number fluctuates because of retirements and new hires, et cetera. And so it's my understanding as of the closing of the last pay period, the number was 58.
Okay. My second question is, do we have a schedule of the RSA account so that we can see how this money is fitting in there? Just want to get an understanding of how it fits into the big picture.
I'm going to defer that question to Greg Messner from the Budget Division.
Great, thank you.
So a schedule of the RSA account, can you?
I just want to get an understanding of where we are in the balance of that account in light of how these fit in.
Yep. So RSA, the appropriation for this year was about $23.9 million. And there also was a large carry forward, over $50 million from prior years. And right now, I believe there's about $62 million in the account.
Okay, do you have like a roll forward of the account so that we can see additions going in and subtractions going out?
Sure, we can provide that.
That would be really helpful. Thank
Absolutely.
you. That's all. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Representative. And OFA has provided us with that in the past. So we'll ask OFA to give us the history.
Yeah, I hadn't seen it. That's why I
RSA. Yeah, OFA gets it for us.
Oh, okay.
Representative France.
Thank you, Madam Chair. First question is, I recall when Governor Lamont came into office and he inherited some of the negotiated contracts from the previous administration. His comment at that time was that he was going to do things differently and that the mischaracterized, but essentially the contracts were more generous than he would have negotiated, I believe is essentially the theme of what he was saying. And while I hear there are some minor differences between the agreement, first off, this is a long trend that we've seen over a number of years of management not being appropriately compensated, which has led them to seek unionization and joining bargaining units. So what has the administration done to compensate management sufficiently so that they don't feel the need to have to join a bargaining unit and they feeling that they're satisfactory? And what was the rationale for this agreement being essentially on par with the existing agreement as opposed to, let's say, the tone that the governor was setting when he came into office?
Well, one of the things that Governor Lamont did was in July of 2019, he granted the managerial group the same general wage increase of 3.5% as the bargaining unit. And that was different from previous administrations that had allowed managers to go in some instances 6 to 8 years without an increase. So he immediately did that. And with respect to this group, as I pointed out, if we would have gone to interest arbitration based upon the DAS manual, how you calculate pay increases and the terms and conditions of the existing bargaining unit and their wages, we would have had tremendous exposure in it costing a lot more than the agreement you have before you, because an arbitrator, quite frankly, would have more likely than not granted them the same wage pattern that is in the existing contract, which is the 3.1% incremental step increase, along with a 3.5% general wage increase.
Thank you for that clarification. And second question is related to, since these are essentially new employees coming into a bargaining unit, why it was retroactive to the beginning of the fiscal year as opposed to starting going forward from the time the agreement was reached?
As I stated at the outset, the individuals had sought inclusion into the bargaining unit well before January of 20. And so it was, and we challenged, of course, whether or not they were appropriately managers or belonged into a bargaining unit. And so at the end of that process is when they were certified into the bargaining unit. Now, the union, and John DeSetti, the president of A&R, of course, could speak to this, but based upon conversations we've had, was going to seek that they be compensated in accordance with the existing wage pattern retroactive to the date that they sought to enter the bargaining unit, and as opposed to actual certification. And so we are limiting it to the point in time of certification.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Representative. Representative Howard.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Ms. Brown-Proudman. We haven't met before, but thank you for being here today. The only question I have is the managerial staff that's coming into this agreement with this bargaining unit, were they at the negotiating table with that bargaining unit as managerial staff when that contract was signed or agreed upon?
Well, the union had representatives of its choosing, so certainly they all were not present.
Well, I guess what I mean is when the folks that are included in that contract agreement that the managerial staff is now entering, the managerial staff was not in that contract prior to now.
That is correct.
So when
they were not organized. They were not part of any bargaining unit. They were managerial exclusions at the time.
Right, but did they negotiate with that same union as managerial staff?
No, managers do not have the right to negotiate.
Okay, so they don't get involved in negotiations. So who's negotiating on behalf of the state in these negotiations?
Statutorily speaking, the Secretary of OPM or the Secretary's designee, which is my office, my staff.
Okay, thank you, ma'am. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Representative Ferraro, you had your hand raised before. Do you have questions?
I did, but my question was addressed, and I maybe just have a comment regarding it. The question was asked by the previous representative before, I can't remember, Representative France, regarding what the state has done to mitigate the circumstance of managers having to enter into unions because their pay grade is not being kept up to par with their subordinates. And it does appear that there's a failing in the negotiation stage of managerial staff that puts them in a position where, you know, I don't think any manager likes the idea of managing folks that make more money than they do. So you almost can't blame them for wanting to do this. But the problem is that I see that we're opening the floodgates, and that every single management team across every agency is going to want to do this. And the cost, you know, when you add it all, you know, 700,000 or 400,000 here and 400,000 there by the end of the day, I imagine it's going to be quite substantial. And I'm just wondering, you know, why these negotiations in the onset can't take into account the increases that the workforce is going to have, and make sure that management stays on par. Just because, you know, as you know, it's more than just negotiating salary. It's the entire, you know, benefit package as well. So that's just my comment, but it seemed like Representative France asked that question. I'm not sure it was really answered, but outside of the fact that we know which department negotiated it, I mean, why wasn't it taken into consideration that this is going to be a problem down the road?
Faye, you want to tell them when this started?
Yeah, because
this started with Kathy Austin, supervisor in the Department of Correction, about 20 years ago.
Yes, it did. And
notwithstanding the fact that various individuals, my predecessors and me included, even in a subordinate position, had relayed that this required some attention many times, more often than not, it fell upon deaf ears.
I'll say, well, excuse my ignorance because I haven't been around that long. And it's good to see the good chair has been on top of this for all these years. I'm just sorry that we're in a situation where I do believe the floodgates are open. Precedence has been set with this bill. And I think we might as well just do it across the board, vote now, because I think that's what's going to end up happening here.
Faye, do you know how many, first of all, first question, the people that are accreting while currently considered managerial don't actually meet the definition of manager? Would that not be true?
That's what the Labor Board has found. The State Employee Relations Act has a very stringent definition of managerial employee. We must be able to show that the individuals meet at least two of several criteria set forth in the statute. And the way that state business is conducted, the way things are set up in most agencies, it's very difficult to meet two of those criteria. And so we end up being able to prove one, but not two. But that's what the definition of manager requires under the statute.
And Faye, do you have a number on how many people are left as in a managerial staff? The number is getting lower and lower.
I don't have that number off the top of my head. Perhaps Greg Messner has that number available.
There are a little over 1,300 managers right now. And again, if you go back 20 years, there probably were 3,000.
So does that help you out, Representative Ferraro?
Yes, Madam Chair, I appreciate it. And again, I apologize for my ignorance and
No,
not
it's
having
not.
the history on this, you know.
It's not ignorance at all. It's just something that's been going on for years. So, so it is what it is.
Thank you, ma'am.
Are there any other questions from colleagues? As usual, thank you, Faye, for your illustrative testimony. I appreciate it. And I would just like to say for the record, Faye is a hard bargainer.
Senator Austin, I believe Representative Hall just raised her hand.
Representative Hall. Thank you.
Thank you. And I apologize, my camera's been doing strange things. And so sometimes if I disappear again, it's because of the software or something that's often does not allow me to turn on the camera. So I do apologize.
Representative Hall.
Thank you. Thank you very much, Madam Chair, and welcome, Faye. Just a couple of questions, and it goes along the lines of my other colleagues asking. Regarding these particular employees, is there and I believe our good clerk might have sent some information. It's just a matter of having a chance to read through it. Is there a number or a delta, if you will, between what these 62 employees would have made if they had not kind of moved into our union bargaining unit? So basically, if they stayed at their present rate of pay and benefits, is there a number or a chart that you can give us to show us the delta between where they're going to be now and where they moved from as far as numbers, salaries, and benefits? And then my second question goes to something you said, and the good senator had talked about and apparently has been a champion for many years. And I will tell you, at the local level, dealing with contracts year in and year out, we bumped up against the same issue where our union employees would move ahead in salary and benefits, and the managerial positions and hierarchy would see no movement or very little movement. So we were very conscientious at the local level to make sure that those deltas, if you will, were noticeably higher in our managerial employees. So where I'm going with the question is there a plan or something that you've presented to the governor's office as to what would get these 1,300 that are left in the managerial positions to a spot where we're not doing this over and over again, moving our managerial staff into union positions? So is there a physical plan or a template that you've moved forward with Senator Austin to kind of push this through to the governor's office so we're not bumping up against this all the time? And like other representatives have talked about, we're going to end up losing all these positions entirely. So I guess that's a two-part question for you.
With respect to a chart showing the delta, I'm going to defer to Greg Messner again of the OPM Budget Division because they are dealing with those numbers readily. And I will also say that right now, that issue is under scrutiny. It is being seriously reviewed insofar as wage compression, salary compression of managerial groups of employees and bargaining unit folks. And so that is being reviewed right now as we speak.
Oops, I think I lost you.
Greg?
I have anything to add to that, Faye. Sort of, I don't think that there's a comprehensive plan that would say, you know, exactly what the right level of pay is for every person. Sort of that delta depends on, you know, how long a person has been a manager and what their job is relative to other jobs. So as Faye says, it's an issue that we look at, but I don't think I can give you a single answer to that.
So if you took the 62 employees that we're looking at here.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, just for these 62 employees, the numbers that you see here, which is about $351,000 on an annual basis of salary, plus fringes, a total of $410,000. That is the difference between no increase, which is what they would have received as managers in fiscal year 21, and the increases in this agreement. So that is the value of for these individuals.
So when Faye was talking about how Governor Lamont had come in and given these raises that our previous governor had not done, none of these employees realized any of those salary increases.
Right, so there were increases that were granted to managers last in fiscal year 20, but not in fiscal year 21.
Okay, so there hasn't been anything moving forward with our governor looking at increasing the manager skills, or is it under, I think Faye alluded, it might be under discussion now.
Yeah, I wouldn't say that there's nothing moving forward. I would just say that there's, to date this fiscal year, nothing has been granted.
Okay, but the discussions apparently must be happening.
There are serious discussions going on right now.
Okay, all right, thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Representative. Representative Kennedy.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you for being here to answer our questions. I just, for clarification, you had mentioned that the numbers were changing because of new hires. Can you just clarify, would new hires be eligible for retroactive?
Once they enter the bargaining unit, this group would not, let's put it this way, their salary upon the time that they're hired would be their salary for the duration of this contract term.
So they don't come in like at a bottom step, or they just come in at whatever step they're hired at? And
well, they typically come in at the minimum of the range.
Okay. Okay, thank you for that clarification. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Representative Terziak.
Thank you very much, Madam Chair. Thank you, Faye, if I may. I am heartened by the fact that the conversation is entirely about money. Having once upon a time been a nurse supervisor and a member of the same bargaining unit of the people I supervised, I always took pride that when people had complaints, if it was about what we were trying to get in terms of money or benefits, hip, hip, hooray. But it wasn't about a struggle on the direction of the agency or a struggle over our mission. Have you heard anything of the managers in these departments? The commissioners in these departments, have they complained that this would be a bad thing to do because then they would then be struggling with these folks who were newly union members?
No, I have not heard any of the commissioners complaining that because they have organized, there would be difficulties.
I'm absolutely not surprised. People should be proud of that. It's a wonderful thing. They're the same people who were trying to get the job done before they organized. Everybody who's ever joined a union for the state organized a chapter. A major part of it was getting more money. One of the things we need to understand now when people organize for it, and if the governor's worrying about pay scales, one of the things that will be working against him is, sure, that's today. And what happens 3 years down the road and forever after that, because the experience of managers in the state is that maybe you'll get closer or happier about what you make today, but you will sit there still making that amount, while other people get a monetary recognition for the job they are doing and what they're accomplishing. So that my only question was the first one. Thank goodness you said that people aren't complaining, that we're still managing to work together.
Well,
and the rest is just, I talk too much.
And I'm glad you pointed it out, because one of the unique features of CERA, the State Employee Relations Act, as compared to the federal counterpart, the NLRA, is that the supervisors are in the bargaining unit. Supervisors in the state of Connecticut have had the ability to organize and bargain since day one. It's managers that are statutorily excluded, and that wasn't always the case. But so I'm sure that is why we're not hearing any complaints on the part of the agency heads, is because this is not new. This is not unique. They are in the bargaining unit. Supervisors have always been in the bargaining units.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative. Are there any further questions from colleagues for Ms. Brown-Bruton or Mr. Mesner? Seeing none. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Up next is
Thank you, Faye.
John Dissetti.
Thank you.
All right, good afternoon. I'd like to thank the chairs and the entire committee. Obviously, I am the president of A&R, and I am here to support HR 11 and SR 6. Rather than run over everything that the Undersecretary, Ms. Brown-Bruton, had presented, I do want to say I concur with the way she presented it. It is a fair and accurate representation of the negotiation process and the result of the Labor Board's decision that this group of 13 job titles and the employees therein, they do have an ability and the right to unionize. They have also stepped forward and voiced their opinion on that. They have all voted, and they nearly unanimously have decided they do want to unionize and join A&R. So this agreement just facilitates that move from the non-represented group to a represented group. Each of these employees did express, for various reasons, not simply wages, that they wanted a voice in their working conditions as well as their wages, in their benefits as well. That's what they're looking for, and that's what this agreement is. This is a way to smooth what we call smoothing from the non-represented side of things to the represented side of things within state service. So that's kind of the quick layout of it. And obviously, if you guys have questions, I'm here to answer that.
Thank you very much, Mr. Dissetti. Really appreciate your work here. And are there any questions from colleagues? Seeing none. Can you just tell me the 20 people that are over at the Labor Board right now, how many job classes are in that one?
That is actually just one job class with 20 people in it.
Thank you. Thank you very much. Any other questions from colleagues? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Up next is Ava Bermudez Zimmerman.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Hello, everyone, members of the Committee, Appropriations Committee. My name is Ava Bermudez Zimmerman. I'm here representing SEIU CSA Local 2001. We currently have 25,000 members throughout the state of Connecticut. In total, we represent paraprofessionals. We have also correctional officers. We also have childcare providers, and all of the childcare providers who are currently on Care for Kids are represented by CSEA. In House Bill 6555, which is now in the purview of appropriations, I strongly recommend that you support this legislation. In the past year during COVID, we've all seen the hardship that families have suffered, parents have suffered, and most of our essential workers, which include childcare providers. We've had millions of dollars being pumped in from the federal government to our state, and we are grateful for it. But now through House Bill 6555, we have an opportunity to allocate that to early educators who work every day very hard to make sure that they're educating our children, keeping them safe, and giving them an opportunity to succeed in our educational environment, in our communities. So I'm just going to keep it brief because later on you're going to hear from testimony from Mayor Gay that has additional statistics, but I'll open up for any questions.
Are there any questions by colleagues for Ms. Bermudez-Zimmerman? Seeing none, thank you very much. Up
Thank you,
next
members of the
is
committee.
Olivia Rinks.
She is not here, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Up next is Emily Byrne.
Hi, good afternoon, Senator Austin, Representative Walker, Representative France, Senator Minor, and esteemed members of the Appropriations Committee. My name is Emily Byrne, and I am testifying today on behalf of Connecticut Voices for Children and in support of House Bill 6555, an act concerning legislative oversight and approval of COVID-19 relief funds. My testimony today will focus on the language within the American Rescue Plan that underscores the legislature's needed stewardship over these funds and highlights the opportunity to fund equitable policies that previously might not have been considered. As you all know, the state of Connecticut is slated to see its share of $350 billion in flexible grants. Our best guess estimate is that the state will have the opportunity of these funds to receive over $2.5 billion, and localities will have the opportunity to receive over $1.3 billion. While we're still working to determine the precise amount Connecticut could receive, my intent here is to highlight the permissible uses and restrictions on these dollars. Regarding uses, funds may be used to respond to the public health emergency with respect to COVID-19 or its negative economic impacts, provide government services to the extent of the reduction in revenue of such state or locality due to such emergency, and or cover costs for necessary investments in water, sewer, or broadband infrastructure. Regarding the restrictions, and this is new language, funds from the bill or transferred from the CARES Act shall not be used to either directly or indirectly offset a reduction in the net tax revenue of such state or territory resulting from a change in law, regulation, or administrative interpretation during the covered period that reduces any tax or delays the imposition of any tax or tax increase. Additionally, the funds from this bill may not be distributed into any pension fund. Should the state or localities fail to comply with these terms, they shall be required to repay the grant. Additionally, the state stewardship and administration of funds to localities is important because language in the American Rescue Plan explains that any funds not dispersed to localities in the allotted time frame must be returned to the U.S. Treasury. Transparency is good government, which is why we asked the legislature to consider strengthening the bill by including language to make state and local reporting proactively publicly available and easily accessible to the public. And or it could potentially go further by instituting a bipartisan oversight and accountability committee that includes members of the public for the duration of funds distribution. While Connecticut's share of the $350 billion funding pool is substantial, it is important to note that these funds do not include the billions of dollars from the American Rescue Plan that will come to the state for the combined and total purposes of health, housing, early care, education, unemployment, and more. Considering the billions of dollars the state has already received over the course of last year, there must be measures in place to ensure these funds are being dispersed on time as well as spent in accordance with the law, which is why Connecticut Voices for Children applauds the legislature for asserting its role as a co-equal branch of government at this critical juncture and urges the committee to pass House Bill 6555. Thank you so much for your time and your leadership. You should have a longer written testimony from me that includes details, but I'm also happy to answer questions now.
Thank you very much. Representative Ferraro.
I'll give my time to the chair, Representative Walker, and I'll go after her.
Thank you very much, Representative. Representative Walker, you will be followed by Representative Ferraro.
Thank you, sir, and thank you for allowing me to go first. Emily, thank you for your testimony. So can you first talk about the loss of revenue or loss of taxes where we cannot utilize these dollars to supplement or not supplant those dollars? Can you explain that again, just so that the people on the committee can understand the language that the federal government has put forward?
Sure. Thank you so much, Chairwoman, for the opportunity to explain this. This is new language. It was actually inserted in the final version of the Senate bill, and it effectively says that states cannot use the state pool fund, the $350 billion fund, to offset a reduction in the net tax revenue. It basically says, gubernatorial administration, if you had interpreted this as such, we are clarifying this for you. And so the language, I think, couldn't be any clearer. I will note that the whole bill, the American Rescue Plan, is over 600 pages. It's on page 582 if you are looking at it. And I'm also happy to share the bill, the totality of the bill language with the committee.
Okay, thank you. 582. You read the whole, never mind. Anyhow, the other question that I had is, I liked your idea about making any investments that are made with these dollars publicly so that the public can see exactly where our dollars are going. Do you have any recommendations on that?
I don't. I think that there is a breadth of wisdom within the committee that could come up with some really creative ideas. I would just say that we'd urge the committee to make sure that the publication of these dollars is easily accessible. So on a, potentially on a website where you don't necessarily have to go digging through multiple pages through a website in order to find it.
Maybe on the Appropriations website. That would probably be a good one. Okay. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you, Emily, for your testimony.
Thank you very much, Representative Walker. Representative Ferraro, you are now up.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for coming before us and testify today. Your testimony was actually very timely because I've been trying to run down some information for the municipality that I represent in a delegation meeting just last night, or the day before, excuse me. The question was asked by the officials of our town, if the state were to, these dollars that were going to eventually come to the city, the stress municipality dollars, as well as the COVID aid dollars, would there be restrictions on that money? And apparently there does seem to be some. I believe from your testimony, I'm to gather that the municipality would not be allowed to use those funds for operating expenses in their budget. Is that correct?
So it's a great question. Thank you so much, Representative. I don't know if that's necessarily my testimony. The testimony is that if the municipality or locality chooses to use funds for operating purposes, there can't be a net tax reduction. That language was really clear. I think the second thing that I would point out in regards to locality funds is that, and this is also new language within the past Senate bill version, is that the locality funds come in two tranches. So the state will disperse, the first tranche, which is 50% of what localities would receive. And then the state would be responsible for also distributing a second tranche of funds a year later. So, these are, and all of this is based on timing. There are incredible restrictions in terms of if the state doesn't actually provide the municipalities money, that money will then be returned to the US Treasury. So there are lots of deadlines, I think, within the localities money that we just underscore that you, as a committee or whatever committee of cognizance over this particular matter, pays close attention to.
Okay, thank you very much. Appreciate your answers. So thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank Thank you very much, Representative. Are there any other questions from colleagues? Representative Walker for the second time.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair. Thank you for indulging me. Emily, I want to go back to the time frame. And I had heard something to the effect that it had to be distributed within 30 or 60 days. Is that accurate? So in other words, it would come into the state and the state would have to disperse it to the municipalities in whichever form that they wanted within 30 to 60 days. Is that correct?
Yeah, so thank you, Representative. The second that the state receives the localities money, they are to, as required by the language, disperse the municipality funds within 30 days. If they don't do that, they need to submit a waiver or a request for an extension. They're allowed, as I read the bill, one additional 30-day extension. There is language, and I think your councils will want to take a look at this, that potentially allows for one additional extension, but there has to be some substantial reason for doing that. So really, I would say it's a 60-day window, 30 days. If you're not going to do it within 30 days, you have to ask for the extension and be approved. And then if approved, you're allowed that additional 30 days. You can again ask for another extension. You have to be approved. And then beyond that, then that is the time frame at which point, if not used, the monies would have to be returned to the U.S. Treasury.
Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Environmental justice amendments and.
Oops, I'm sorry, I was muted. Are there any other further questions from colleagues? Seeing none. Thank you very much. Up next is Merrill Gay.
Okay, let's see. Can I get myself turned on? All right, thank you. Senator Austin, Representative Walker, member of the Appropriations Committee. Thank you for this opportunity to testify in favor of House Bill 6555. My name is Merrill Gay. I'm the Executive Director of the Connecticut Early Childhood Alliance. The Alliance supports 6555 because of the imminent passage of the American Rescue Act and the opportunity it creates to dramatically improve childcare in Connecticut. And we believe it's essential that the legislature had the ability to make sure that we don't squander that opportunity. The American Rescue Act appropriates $39 billion to states to use for childcare. Connecticut's share of that is expected to be $276 million. For comparison's sake, Connecticut currently allocates a combined federal and state appropriation of $140 million per year to the Care for Kids program. So the American Rescue Act is going to provide Connecticut with twice as much money as we currently spend each year to provide childcare subsidies. Even when you take into account that $276 million can be spent over 2 years, it's still almost 100% increase in the funds available for Care for Kids. Every year as early childhood advocates, we come before you asking for increases so that childcare providers can earn more than poverty wages and that we can remedy some of the problems, like the fact that Connecticut is one of only 2 states in the country that doesn't allow parents access to the childcare subsidy program while they're in school or a job training program. Every year we get told we'd love to do that, but there just isn't the money. Well, with the passage of the American Recovery Act, that excuse no longer exists. However, we fear that the decisions about how those funds are going to be spent, if left entirely to the administration, that we will end up with OPM doing what OPM does, which is to look at this and say, oh, it's a one-time grant. We shouldn't do anything that might cause the state to have to incur any ongoing expense. It's that line of thinking that will squander this opportunity, and we urge you not to let that happen. We could waste a lot of time trying to figure out how to create one-time grant programs to spend this money, or we can do what has needed to be done for years. Raise the payment rates for Care for Kids to the federally recommended 75th percentile of the market rate. And then after we see how much that costs, open up eligibility to the parents who are currently excluded. This is a unique opportunity, and we know that for the next 2 years, we'll have twice as much money as we currently spend. We also know that Congresswoman DeLauro, the new chair of the House Appropriations Committee in Congress, has every intention of trying to add additional funds into the mandatory line of the Child Care Development Block Grant so that we will have more funds year after year. The single biggest obstacle that she will face in achieving that goal will be states not spending the money that they get through the American Recovery Act. I urge you to pass 6555 so that you'll have a say in this and that this won't just be OPM making decisions about how this money gets spent. Thank you for this opportunity. Be happy to answer any questions.
Thank you, Merrill. Are there any questions from colleagues? Representative Johnson.
Thank you so much, Madam Chair, and thank you so much for your testimony, Merrill. I just wondered, in terms of the not being allowed to utilize the money, the daycare money for educational purposes, so someone can advance themselves, and you said we're one of 2 states. Is that because of the waiver we have on the TANF program?
Excuse me, I couldn't quite hear that.
You said in your testimony you talked about the fact that we cannot utilize any money for child care purposes for people who are trying to get an education.
Yeah.
And is that because of the waiver we have, the TANF waiver?
No, it's actually TANF recipients are the only people who are the exception to the rule that people can't use the child care subsidy in a job while they're in a job training program. The issue is that we've set in our child care development block grant plan the only allowable activities being paid work. So many other states also allow education and training within their child care development block grant plan.
Okay. All right, thank you. So how would we correct that?
If the legislature the education committee were to pass the bill that they heard today with the amendment that we suggested, that could become an allowable activity and could be included in the OEC Child Care Development Block Grant Plan.
Well, thank you for that, and thank you for helping me make those connections. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much. Representative Gilchrist.
Thank you, Madam Chair, and thank you, Merrill, for being here today. Just wanted to say I appreciated your testimony. It's very helpful to have that recommendation. And as the Executive Director of the Connecticut Early Childhood Alliance, I know that you are the voice for many different types of childcare. Are all the folks who participate in the Alliance on board with this proposal to see that the federal dollars get spent in this way?
I think that the Alliance's membership is overwhelmingly in support of seeing the Care for Kids program funded better than it is now. And so this would enable parents to access childcare who are not able to access it now.
And get those rates up for those providers. Yeah.
It is absolutely clear that the single biggest problem in childcare is that there's not enough money in the system to be able to pay childcare providers a living wage, and therefore there are lots of parents who can't find childcare because there aren't enough people coming into the industry to staff childcare programs.
Well, thank you. I appreciate all you do for childcare workers and families. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you very much. Representative Abercrombie.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just for some historical information to add to Representative Johnson, years ago, probably 10 years ago, we had a little bit of extra money in that line item, and it was between allowing young people to go back to school or pay for maternity leave. We didn't have maternity leave there so that they could hold on to their slots years ago, and at that time, the providers had thought that it was more efficient to be able to hold on to their slots at childcare. So that's why we had gone with that decision. I agree with Representative Johnson. Education is a huge piece of this and should be included, but there's nothing to say except for dollars that we can't do that. I did get a couple of text messages from people wanting to know if we could go to the 75%. Currently we're at the 50, or if this is mandated through the federal government. No, we can raise it to any percentage we want. Again, it goes to dollars and how we want to best spend our dollars. Probably about 8 years ago, we had a situation where all of the dollars had not been spent in that line item again. And we had gone from the 50% to the 75 so that families could stay on the program. And then we also grandfathered them in for a few years so that they didn't come off and on. So just a little bit of background as to this program, how it has evolved through the years. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative. Senator Kushner.
Thank you, Madam Chair. And I just want to add my appreciation as well, and to your comments, Merrill, and also to previous comments that have been made regarding this bill. And, you know, I had the occasion last summer to join Senator Blumenthal and child care providers in my community who are desperately afraid of what's going to happen in terms of a crisis in child care. And we know how important care for kids is to our community. It is essential. And the programs that we run are amazing. You know, from the teachers to the parents to the children, they're so important. And so I really applaud you for advocating for this. And I hope that as a state, we recognize the importance of doing as much as we can in this area with these funds and with other funds that might be necessary to really bring up the wages of the providers, as well as providing more funds for more parents so that we can get more kids educated in our state. So thank you for advocating for this and for being so clear in your testimony.
Thank you very much, Senator Kushner. Are there any other comments or questions? Seeing none. Thank you so much, Merrill. Up next is Elizabeth Frazier.
Not present, Madam Chair.
Alrighty, did the previous person that was not present come on, or do we have anybody else that's speaking?
No.
Alrighty, so we are going to end this public hearing and go into a committee meeting. But I would like to talk a little bit about the committee meeting process. And if you could, we're going to have to start trying to get people over here from all their other meetings. So keep that in mind. The Zoom meetings will be conducted at a slower pace to accommodate the quality of the live stream and to preserve the integrity of the vote. All participants will be muted until required to speak. Members must raise their virtual hand to signify a desire to speak and wait to be recognized. At which point, you can do this by opening up the participant pane and click raise hand at the bottom of the panel. Members participating via phone should use *9 to raise their hand and *6 to mute and unmute. For roll call votes, committee staff will visually authenticate the voter, which means that you will have to be on camera to have that happen. Members are requested to state their name and vote, such as Senator or Representative Smith votes yes. For voice votes, the chair will announce the following. Please prepare yourself for a voice vote by unmuting your microphone. So we just need to take our time doing this because the staff and our Madam Administrator are required to see us and required to see that we are unmuted on screen. So that being said, we have finished the public hearing. And Madam Administrator, are we ready to call the committee meeting to order?
Yes, we are, Madam Chair.
So we are going to call the committee meeting to order. Representative Walker, do you have anything to say?
No, I think the Senate should go first. Thank you.
I think we should go first all the time, so I'm okay with that. So I think we'll deal with Representative France. Anything to say? I can't hear you, Representative. You need to switch your microphone again.
Yeah, switch my microphone. I would just echo the good comments of the fine chair from the House.
Thank you very much.
Madam Chair, I just would like to alert you to the fact that Senator Minor is having technical difficulties. So it's my understanding that we will be holding votes open. Is that so?
Yes, we're going to try to hold votes open. We want to get as many people in as possible. So it's now 3:05. Maybe holding votes open till 4:30. Madam Administrator, does that sound good? So we'll hold votes open till 4:30. And Senator Minor, I see that you're there. Do you have anything to say, or can you unmute yourself? *6. So Madam Administrator, I think I'm going to call HB 6555 first, which both the Senate and the House will be voting on. I'll entertain a motion for HB 6555.
Moved.
That's Representative
Second.
Walker.
Second.
Seconded by Representative Terziak.
Oh, thank you.
Go slow, everybody. Is there any discussion on 6555? Representative France.
Thank you, Madam Chair. Just one question. In the bill that I reviewed, it didn't have an amount in there. There was still a blank in there. Was there any addition to provide that clarification, or is it still with a blank as far as the amount of funds that are going to be a part of this bill?
I believe that the amount of funds will depend on what we get for federal dollars. So it's any federal dollars that we get. Representative Walker.
That is correct. And thank you, Representative France, for that question. What we decided to do was just use any federal dollars that we get under the umbrella of the American Rescue Plan would go to that amount.
Thank you very much. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you, Representative France. So are there any further questions? Seeing none, I believe that we will do a roll call vote. So I need all of you to prepare yourself for a roll call vote. Madam Administrator, whenever you're ready.
Austin.
Yes, Austin votes in the affirmative.
Walker.
Yes, Walker votes in the affirmative.
Hartley. Dathan.
Representative Dathan votes yes in the affirmative.
Nolan.
Anthony Nolan votes yes in the affirmative.
Minor. France.
France votes affirmative.
Abercrombie.
Abercrombie, affirmative.
Abrams. Anwar. Baker. Betts.
Representative Betts votes yes.
Malinsky.
Representative Belinsky votes yea.
Candelaria.
Representative Candelaria votes yes.
Ciccarella. Curry.
Representative Curry votes yes.
If we don't mind, I see Senator Minor. I'm going to grab him now while I can. Senator Minor.
Thank you. Yes.
Thank you. Dillon.
Dillon votes yes.
DeMassa.
Representative DeMassa votes in the affirmative.
Felipe.
Representative Felipe votes in the affirmative.
Ferraro.
Ferraro?
Yes, sir.
Okay, Ferraro votes in the affirmative.
Flexer.
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Gibson.
Representative Gibson votes yes. Hello, can you hear me?
I can see you now. That's what I was waiting for. Thank you.
Representative Gibson votes yes. Thank you.
Thank you. Gilchrist.
Gilchrist votes yes.
Gonzalez.
Gonzalez votes yes.
Thank you. Haddad.
Representative Haddad.
Ah,
Representative Haddad votes yes.
thank you. Representative Carol Hall.
Representative Carol Hall votes yes.
Representative Joshua Hall.
Representative Joshua Hall votes yes.
Representative Harrison.
Representative Harrison votes yes.
Representative Hayes.
Representative Hayes votes yes.
Representative Howard.
Representative Howard votes yes.
Representative Johnson.
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Representative Kennedy.
Representative Kennedy votes yes.
Senator Kushner.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Senator Lesser.
Senator Lesser in the affirmative.
Senator Lopes.
Senator Lopes votes yes.
Representative McCarty.
Representative McCarty votes yes.
Senator McCrory. Representative McGee.
McGee, affirmative.
Representative Pavlak D'Amato.
D'Amato votes yes.
Would you do me a favor, please? Because Senator McCrory's face just popped up on the screen. Representative Pavlak D'Amato, would you speak a little bit more so I can see your face?
Pavlak D'Amato votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Porter.
Representative Porter votes in the affirmative.
Representative Reyes.
Mitigation.
Representative Reyes votes in the affirmative.
Offset necessarily because I don't envision
Representative Rosario.
an accounting thing where you plant some trees.
Representative Rosario votes in the affirmative.
Representative Ryan.
Representative Ryan votes yes.
Representative Sanchez. Somebody's TikToking. Representative Sims.
Representative Sims votes in the affirmative.
All right, I'm going to need you to say that one more time for me because Representative Terciak's lovely face is on the screen. So I need so if Representative
Representative Sims votes in the affirmative.
all right, so we have a little issue right now. I need everybody to please be muted except for Representative Sims so that he may cast his vote. Thank you. Okay,
Representative
give it
Sims
one more
votes in the
shot,
affirmative.
Representative Sims.
All right, Representative Sims votes in the affirmative.
Thank you. Now I see you. Thank you. Senator Summers.
Senator Summers votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Terciak.
Representative Terciak votes yes. Thank you.
Representative Turco.
Representative Turco votes yes.
Representative Wilson. Senator Winfield. Representative Zawistowski.
Representative Zawistowski votes yes.
Thank you, ma'am. All right, do we have Senator Abrams? Senator Anwar?
I'm sorry, Senator Darty Abrams votes yes.
Thank you, ma'am. Senator Anwar?
Senator Anwar votes yes.
Thank you, sir. Representative Baker? Senator Ciccarella?
Senator Ciccarella votes yes.
Thank you, sir. Senator McCrory? Senator McCrory, where did you go?
I'm back. Senator McCrory votes yes.
Thank you, sir. Senator Hartley?
Thank you, Madam Administrator. Senator Hartley in the affirmative.
Thank you, ma'am. Representative Sanchez?
I'll let Representative Sanchez know that they're looking for his vote. We're both hosting an education committee meeting right now. I'll let him know.
No, the other Senator Sanchez, not your Senator Sanchez, but thank you, sir, for making the offer. And Representative Wilson, Representative Wilson, and Senator Winfield. All right. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you very much, Madam Administrator. And so would the senators prepare themselves for a vote? Madam Administrator, are you ready to move on to SR6?
Yes, I am, ma'am.
I'll entertain a motion for Senate Resolution number 6.
So moved. Senator Kushner.
Senator Kushner is moving it. Is there a second?
Second, Senator Abrams.
Senator Abrams seconded it. Madam Administrator, would you call the roll?
On Senate Resolution 6, it is only Senate members voting. Senator Austin.
Senator Austin votes in the affirmative.
Senator Hartley. Senator Minor.
No.
Senator Darty Abrams.
Senator Darty Abrams votes yes.
Senator Anwar. Senator Ciccarella.
Senator Ciccarella votes no.
Thank you, sir. Senator Flexer.
Senator Flexer votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Kushner.
Senator Kushner votes yes.
Thank you. Senator Lesser.
Senator Lesser in the affirmative.
You gotta say that one more time for me so that you come on.
Senator
screen.
Lesser in the affirmative.
Thank you, sir. Senator Lopes.
Senator Lopes votes yes. Hopefully, my picture comes up soon.
There you go. Thank you. Senator McCrory.
Senator McCrory votes yes.
Thank you, sir. Senator Summers.
Senator Summers votes no.
Thank you. And Senator Winfield. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And I'll now, the votes will be left open until 4:30. Representative Walker.
Thank you, Madam Chair. I would like to ask for a motion for House Resolution number 11. May I have a motion to move the item?
Abercrombie move.
Second by Candelaria.
Second.
Susan Abercrombie moved, and I heard Candelaria second.
Got it. Thank you, ma'am.
Madam Administrator, may you call the roll, please?
Representative Walker.
Yes.
Representative Dathan.
Representative Dathan votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Nolan.
Representative Nolan. Can't hear you.
Representative Nolan votes yes.
Thank you, sir. Representative France.
Representative France votes no.
Representative Abercrombie.
Abercrombie, yes.
Representative Baker. Representative Betts.
Representative Baker votes yes.
Oh, thank you, sir. Representative Betts.
Representative Betts votes no.
Representative Belinsky.
Representative Belinsky votes nay.
Representative Candelaria.
Representative Candelaria votes yes.
Representative Curry.
Representative Curry votes yes.
Representative Dillon.
Representative Dillon votes yes.
Representative DeMassa.
Representative DeMassa votes in the affirmative.
Representative Felipe.
Representative Felipe votes yes.
Representative Ferraro.
Representative Ferraro votes no.
Representative Gibson.
Representative Gibson votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Gilchrist.
Gilchrist votes yes.
Representative Gonzalez.
Representative Gonzalez vote yes.
Representative Haddad.
Charles Rothenberger from Safe Sound was just discussing, as well as strengthening public notice and public meeting process and community involvement.
Somebody, Representative Reyes, are you unmuted? If you could mute for me, please, that'd be great. Thank you.
Representative Reyes votes in the affirmative.
No, sir, I'm not calling on you. I need you to mute if you would, please.
And reporting on data.
Thank you. Representative Haddad.
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Okay, one more time because I didn't see your face.
Representative Haddad votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Carol Hall.
Representative Carol Hall votes no.
Representative Joshua Hall.
Representative Joshua Hall votes yes.
Representative Harrison.
Representative Harrison votes no.
Thank you. Representative Hayes.
Representative Hayes votes no.
Representative Howard. Representative Howard, are you with us? Okay, we'll come. Representative Johnson.
Representative Johnson votes yes.
Representative Kennedy.
Kennedy votes no.
Representative McCarty. Representative McGee.
McGee in the affirmative.
Representative Pavlak D'Amato. Representative Porter.
Representative Porter votes in the affirmative.
Representative Reyes.
Representative Reyes in the affirmative.
Thank you. Representative Rosario.
Representative Rosario in the affirmative.
Representative Ryan.
Representative Ryan votes yes.
Representative Sanchez.
Representative Sanchez votes yes.
Thank you. Representative Sims.
Representative Sims votes in the affirmative.
Representative Terciak.
Representative Terciak votes yes.
Representative Turco.
Representative Turco votes yes.
Representative Wilson. and Representative Zawistowski.
Representative Zawistowski votes yes. I'm sorry, votes no.
Gotcha. Thank you. Thank you, Madam Chair.
Thank
Senator
you.
Anwar,
And I
I missed the
will,
vote.
with,
No,
Senator Anwar
Senator
votes
Anwar,
yes.
Senator Anwar, that was for House members only.
Oh, sorry.
that's okay. So the votes will stay open until 4:30. And I think I'm going to recess.
Yes, ma'am, that's what you're gonna do.
Okay. Thank you, everybody. Whoa, everybody's microphone's on.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Susan.
You're
Thank you.
welcome. Thank
Thank
you.
you, Sue.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wow. Bye-bye, thanks.
Susan, this is Senator Anwar. Just wanted to confirm I did not miss any vote, right?
You are fine, Senator. You did not miss any votes. You cast your 2 votes. You're good.
Yeah, Madam Administrator, it's Kathleen,
Hello
Representative
there.
McCarty.
Yes,
Yeah,
ma'am.
my signal dropped just before you were going to call on me.
Oh, golly. All right.
So-
So on House Resolution 11, ma'am.
Yes, I would vote, Representative McCarty votes no.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
The
Sorry
rate-
about that.
For a policy that would,
Madam Administrator,
Yes.
can you let me know which senators have not voted on 6555?
I believe the only senator to not vote on that bill is Senator Winfield. So I
And
need
on-
votes on both of on both Senate Resolution 6 and House Bill 6555 from Senator Winfield.
And on the Senate resolution, besides Gary, is there any other senator, D senator?
I have Senator Hartley.
I think so. Okay.
Madam Clerk,
Hello there. Hi,
Hi.
Representative Howard.
good afternoon, ma'am. I'm sorry I had to step away for a minute for another
That's okay.
engagement. Can you register me a no vote on HR 11?
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Thank you, ma'am. Thank you all.
greenhouse gas emissions transportation sector. We're very supportive.
Susan, good afternoon. Representative Reyes, did I miss a vote?
But we want to make sure that those are the.
No,
voices-
you're good. You voted on both the 6555 and on the House resolution, so you're good.
Hi, and this is Rep. Wilson. I was having a trouble getting in. Did I miss votes?
Yes, sir, you did. So the first vote that we took was on House Bill 6555.
Okay, and this is just to move it forward?
Yes.
Okay, I'll say aye.
Okay. And then the second vote was on House Resolution 11.
I'll say aye. Did you hear me? Aye?
I heard you, sir.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome.
So, Madam Administrator,
Yes,
do you
sir.
think that Representative Sanchez is like unable to speak because he's in Representative Gonzalez's box for some reason?
Oh, is Representative Sanchez still with us?
Yes, he is, but it says he's in Representative Gonzalez's box. And personally, I know them both. I'm not passing any judgment here.
Well, Representative Sanchez, I need your vote, please, on House Bill 6555.
I vote yes.
Thank you. Okay, now you're all set.
I'm all completed. Thank you so much. I'm gonna get this technical issue figured out, Peter, I promise.
Okay. I have faith in you, brother.
Thank you.
Good luck.
Bye.
I see Representative Pavlik D'Amato. So Representative Pavlik D'Amato, if you would like to vote on House Resolution 11.
D'Amato votes no for the last bill.
Got it. Thank you.
Thank you.
So,
Yes, sir.
so this is Rep Wilson. After reviewing, because I was out of the room, I'd like to change my vote on 11 to no.
Got it, sir. Thank you.
Thank you.
Madam Administrator?
Yes, sir.
Are there any Republican House members that are still pending vote?
I don't believe so. Let me double check. I know that we're only waiting on Senator Winfield and Representative Baker for the first bill. And I think everyone has actually voted on the resolution. Let me double check. Yeah, everyone's voted on the resolution now.
Thank you very much, Madam Administrator.
You are welcome. Representative Baker, are you still with us?
Madam Administrator, this is Representative Belinsky. Just wanted to check, do we have any other open business or can I adjourn and head over to education?
You can head on over to education. We are all set for the day.
Thank you, Sue.
Thank
Have a
you.
great one.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
Hello?
Hello, Representative Baker. Would you like to cast a vote for House Bill 6555?
Which one was that?
That's the disbursement of COVID funds.
Representative Baker votes yes.
Thank you, sir. You're all set now. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Senator Hartley, are you with us?
Madam Administrator?
Here I am, madam.
Hi, my apologies. I don't mean to be keeping you waiting till the end. I'm just able to get back on here.
That happens.
Okay, so I missed one vote or two votes?
One vote. You missed the vote on Senate Resolution 6.
Okay, and then, so all told, there were two votes. The other one was the House bill, which I did get recorded on, yeah. Okay, so this is the accretion thing. Ugh. Okay. Yeah, so I guess at this moment, Hartley will vote in the affirmative.
Okay. Thank you, ma'am.
Be well.
You too. See you soon.
Okay, have a good evening. Bye, Susan.
Thank
Bye.
you. Bye.